Hey, Orchinistas! Welcome to the channel Forever Orchids. I have a confession to make. This video is a little hard for me to make. This is undoubtedly one of my most embarrassing. I tell you, I've been growing orchids for 30 years, and this is kind of embarrassing for me to share this with you. But I have a plant that I have not repotted, and I have no clue when it was potted. It could easily 10 years or more that it was potted, and it is finally gotten to the point where the plant is suffering in the condition that it is in. And so this is pretty embarrassing for me to have a YouTube channel and share this with you, but I thought I'd bring you along and let's look at this plant and let's figure out together how we're going to repot it. First of all, the major thing is I have to get it out of the decorative container that it is growing in. So I have been soaking this plant. I'm going to move this out of the way for a second here. And it is currently in water, and I've been soaking it for probably an hour. It is in bloom. This is Encyclia radiata. It's now, I believe, called Prosthechea radiata. Now, I know this plant is suffering, and I should have repotted it last year when I realized that the flowers are much smaller than they normally are. The flowers are not lasting as long. I've had this plant be in bloom for 3 months. And last year it only stayed in bloom, I don't even know if it stayed in bloom a month. But the flowers are much smaller. And so I'm thinking, yeah, this plant's not doing good. And we've got a lot of bulbs that are dying back. That's normal for this plant. So let me pull it out here. And I've got a container here that this water can drip down into. And I'm going to have to break the pot. So you're going to have to see. It's a beautiful little pot that I have it planted in. I drilled some holes in it years and years ago and just let the plant go. The plant was extremely happy for the longest kind of time. It's got its roots wound all over the top of the pot here. But I know that this thing is just going to be a root ball. And you can see all these brown roots here for the plant, that it's just overcome the top of the pot here. So I know I need to divide it. I do have a good division point that I can see right in here. Let me turn this around here and maybe you can see this a little bit better. Let me set it down a little bit so I can spread these apart. All right, so there is 2 new growths right here. So the plant's still been growing, but I just feel like I've got to get it out of this pot here. I've got to get some new roots on it. It's got new growth here. But see how I always tell you guys, make sure that your new growth is the same size or larger than the previous growth. When the plant is mature size, make sure all the pseudobulbs are the same size. When they start growing and getting smaller, that's a little telltale sign that you've got a problem. And I've got that right here with these pseudobulbs right here, just haven't quite got as large as they should. Another reason why I haven't repotted this is because, haven't you heard? Everybody tells you, do not repot an orchid when it's in bloom. Well, guess what? When this is in bloom, it grows new growth and new roots all at the same time. And I have been really confused about, well, when should I repot it? So that was my excuse to not repot it. But since I have grown my collection in the last year, I started this YouTube channel, I started volunteering at multiple places, and I've gotten more experience in repotting that it's given me the courage to repot this plant. I absolutely love this plant and I don't want to kill it. So that has been, out of fear, I have not repotted this plant. I love the plant because the smell of it is wonderful. It's light, it's fresh, and the only thing I can think of is reminding me of just a fresh, clean spring day, because this will bloom early June. So June every year it will bloom. So there you go. There you have it. Those are my reasons for being not repotting this. I've just been too scared, but I am to the point where I have to do something or I'm going to lose the plant. I imagine that the interior of this pot, any media that's down in there is extremely broken down, if there's any left, and it is probably toxic to the plant as far as the acidity. Now, we're going to get started here. So I'm lifting up the rim here, all of these roots, and I'm quite sure that most of these roots are dead, and just lifting them up to see what kind of movement I can get out of the plant, out of this. And because I soaked it, this isn't, you guys, unbelievable. I literally brought the hammer because I thought I was going to have to crack this pot. No, because I soaked it, this came out beautifully. I could wash this pot and reuse it. Now, I didn't even remember what this was potted in. Had no idea. But now that I'm looking at it, this is just root bound. This is what's wrong with the plant, because this has been planted in stay-light. That is all that's in here. And that does not break down. It's just overgrown and root bound. It still needed repotting. In fact, look here. Here's my tag. Here's my tag here. Oh, I can't even read where I got this from. Whew. No dates on it whatsoever. Some orchid company out of Indianapolis, Indiana. But it's broken off, so I don't know where the plant came from. More than likely, I would have gotten it probably at an Orchid Society meeting, if I had to guess. Okay, I may reuse this. I'm going to divide this plant, and I may have to reuse this, or I might end up using that pot. Alrighty, we've got a little bit of new growth, new roots there, and I'm just going to keep on with my hands and get the stay light out of here. Now I'm losing, a lot of roots are breaking off, and that could be one of the reasons why the plant's just not been doing good. It just doesn't have the root system anymore that it needed. So definitely doing what I'm doing is going to help. I didn't break it. There would have been a new root there. I'm just going to keep on. And you know what, guys? I just get in there. I just get in the dirt. I brought my gloves out. I do that all the time, and then I just forget to put my gloves on. Alrighty. Now, I definitely know that I'm going to be getting rid of these dead back bulbs here. Look, see, we've got some new roots right there. And this is more than likely going to be a division here. And it's just one of those things where you just have to get in there and start pulling these roots apart. You are going to do some damage to some roots. I need to save the plant. I need to do what I can. This is just like going to be 3 little pseudobulbs right here by the time I take all this dead off. So I'm not sure if we're going to be able to save this portion, but I'm going to try. Okay. Alrighty, so I think it's time to get out the pruners. And I'm still just digging in with my hands. All I've done to this plant is just let it go for years. For years, I've just let it do its thing. And whenever the back bulbs would totally die back, shrivel up, and get hard and dried, I would just cut them off and the plant would just keep on going. Just keep on going. So we're going to see how many divisions we're going to get out of here. I really feel like I've got a good division right here. Can you see that? That I'm going to be able to get in there and cut out. Okay. I really feel like I'm to the point now where dirt just went in my mouth. That I am going to, yeah, I'm going to get the pruners here. Okay, this could be a division here. We've got good back bulbs here, and we've got new growth coming up here. So this may end up being a new growth, a new division. I guess I should have titled this My Most Embarrassing Repot and Teaching You Guys How to Divide. All right, I'm going to sit this down for a second here, rinse my hands off in this water, and get my pruning shears, the ones that you've normally seen me use. I'm going to get ones that are a little bit larger. Sometimes you have to just get out larger tools. Sometimes I've heard of orchid growers that their plants, they just get to the point where they're so big. I mean, they're getting out like pruners. No, excuse me, like machetes, large pruners to cut them. There's a friend that I know, and if I can find the link to or something on Amazon to purchase, he uses sheep shearing scissors of some kind to get into his big cattleyas that he has. Okay, give me just a second here. Be a blink of an eye. I'll be right back. Okay, let's get these. It's my little butane torch here that I use. We could get some. There we go. And I do have a link down in the description here of the tools and the products that I use. I've given you some Amazon links so that it makes it really simple for you to go to right to that product and purchase these products if you need any of these tools that I'm using or any of the media. Now, I've got bark soaking over here to my left. I've got some sphagnum moss that's also soaking. And that's what I was planning on planting this in. But this was also in what is called staylight. And I'm thinking it was very happy. So I've got some of that. I'm definitely going to go get some of that and pot these divisions up into it. Okay, that's good enough. I want to do at least 20 seconds. I don't have to get these red hot. Just enough so that they're hot enough so that when I make a cut, these will also cauterize the wound that we're making. So we're going to get this little division here. And let's see here where the rhizome is. Come in here. And I don't know if you heard that. I did. There was a lot of sizzling noise that happened. And now we have a division where we've got some new roots that are coming out. And I can go ahead and cut off. I'm a little leery to cut off all of these pseudobulbs, even though they're dying back. I'm just a little concerned that we just won't have enough life in this if I do that. I'm not sure. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna come into here, just cut it like that, throw that part out, and we'll have this much here that will pot that up, be able to give that to somebody. Okay, now I feel like there was a division over here. I think what I'll do is I'll come in and at least get these dried pseudobulbs out. And we can kind of see down in here and see some of the direction. That's one of the things I'm trying to find is the direction of growth. Just going to use my hands and just kind of see what we've got. So right here, by doing that, this right here broke off, kind of just naturally separated because this rhizome section here is dead. I wouldn't mind as much of this as I can keep as a whole plant. Excuse me. Much of this as I can keep as a whole plant. I would love to do that. All right, that was some of that new growth there. I come around here and get this dead stuff off. Now I'm feeling down here with my finger to see where this goes. I think we're separated there. Okay. Now I'm going to come up from the bottom here, see if I can't get my fingers to run through the center here where I said there was going to be a division. So here's my finger. See what we can get working on here. Now, told you I have been afraid to do this. So much so that I bought another Encyclia radiata, Prosthechea radiata. And it's on the grow space back there. Its pseudobulbs are much larger than mine here. Oh, I hate to do this, guys. We're just going to cut down into that. Get this spread apart here. See, I may have some viable roots right here. I'm trying not to cut those. I'm just trying to cut what is like all of this really dried, real thin, wiry roots that would have died over time, and seeing if I can't separate. But it is a good mass. Whoops, okay, took my fingers there, separated out. Almost there, almost. It's getting there. And they're really good. See, we're getting it apart. I don't know what's better, a clean cut or just trying to work them apart. Because I've got some here, like 2 or 3 that are just in there really tight. Probably was pulling the wrong way on those. I think that did it. Okay. Alrighty. Now, we have got our divisions here now. I decided that this little back section right here, I'm going to leave it. If I can get all of this in a pot, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Trim off a lot of this dead roots here. I'm going to set the plant back. I just know I am. But I would love to see new roots. Oh, and the water that I soaked it in was just regular tap water. There might have been a little sea kelp extract in it to start with, but I needed some more water than what I had already mixed up in the sea kelp extract. And so I will soak all of this. All right, here's a, might could cut some of that off. I think I have dirt now flying in my face. It actually looks like that's a little piece of, looks like a little gray little pebble, but it's not. It's actually where at one time I had some slow release fertilizer in here. Alrighty, now the question is going to become, can we find a pot big enough? To put all of this in? Because I basically am going to have hardly any roots, live roots, The pseudobulbs I'm hoping are going to sustain the plant. This division here is probably big enough to go right back in the pot that it was in. We'll put that one in some Stay-Lite. Now let's work on this division here, getting these old bulbs cut out that are dying back. And these might get lucky, and these are on their own rhizome. You know, I've just been digging down in here looking at this plant, and I bet you guys would have liked to have seen the overhead. But I do have, I'm not sure, all of these bulbs right here, they appear to be on their own rhizome, that I'm not seeing where all of the green here, where does it come into play? And it very well could be that there is, okay, here we go. There we go, right there's the rhizome. I think this right here is coming up into this growth right here. And all of this had a rhizome that's all dead back in here now. Okay. Ooh, got some just dead rhizome there. Alright, have new growth here on this one. Now I just want to decide, am I going to keep these back bulbs here, let them go ahead and finish giving nutrients, going and die back and giving nutrients to the rest of the plant? I might just do that. It's going to look ugly for a while. I'm just nervous about taking as much energy away from this plant, as we're definitely waiting until new roots start forming. Yeah, I'm just trying to think about how to pot this one up as well. Might fit in this 5-inch pot here that I've got. That could fit. That would work, wouldn't it? I'm telling you, I want to take these out. That's why I keep looking at them. Get some of this out. And then you can kind of curl this around somewhat, because all of this was on a different rhizome. Yep, definitely was. And I could just turn, I mean, actually, you can see there's 2 separate plants here. There you go. 2 separate divisions. I keep saying different plants. This was all one plant, and it just over the years branched out in multiple directions. So now that I have this, if I wanted to, I could come in here and maybe put these together. If I wanted to have a new growth here and new growth here going in that direction, flip this around and have new growth here and new growth here, and have them coming in different directions, just so that I can continue with maybe more of a rounded, I don't know. See if that'll all still fit in there. It should. Yeah, that'll all fit in there. All right, let me get all of this mess cleaned up here, and I'm going to go get the Stay-Lite, and we're going to start potting up this bigger portion here. I think I'll get the pot good cleaned out better than what it is here. And I will show you what Stay-Lite looks like. And I'll be, in a blink of an eye, I'll be right back. Alrighty, I went and washed the pot out. as best I could and went ahead and got some Stay-Lite. Stay-Lite is just Permatil is another name for it. And if I'm not mistaken, I didn't look at the bag before I started videotaping here. I believe it is expanded slate, and it comes in different sizes. Now, all that I was able to find was really tiny, and that's exactly what was already in the pot. So I am going to bring you guys in closer, go to the overhead camera so that you can see more of the plant going down in here. Okay, so I'm going to add some Stay-Lite down in the bottom of the pot. So we've added some Stay-Lite down in the bottom, and now I'm going to put this bigger portion down in the pot. We'll lift it up just ever so slightly. I think I'll need a little bit more Permatil so it can sit, this mass here can sit on there. Yeah, I'm just going to leave all of this here. It could have been down in, a smaller bark that has broken down, or this is just pseudobulbs and roots that have broken down over time. But I'm going to plant it in straight up Stay-Lite. Got it going everywhere. Making a mess. Okay, as far as new growth right here. And there is some new growth right here. So I'm not really going to be concerned about the direction that I'm putting this in here. I do need a little bit more Stay-Lite. I do want to get those rhizomes up taller. I think this will work now. It'll sit nice in there. Just basically just going to sit on top of the Stay-Lite for the time being until I can get some new roots growing. Yeah, gosh. Yeah, I've got some sphagnum moss. I don't know if it would do any good or not to put any underneath there. That's about what I'm going to do. That's it, guys. Now we'll fill in around the pot here. Now, because I've got the sphagnum moss, I might just top it with some sphagnum moss. Well, I got cats have come downstairs in my studio. The only thing I can think of as far as the sphagnum moss being on here, when this new when this new growth here starts putting out new roots, we'll have some moisture there that it can start finding. And actually this one here is already under the Stay-Lite, so there's not really much need for the sphagnum moss. Now I have to make up new labels for these. Put that one back down in there, but I'll get new labels. So we've got this one, and I'm just going to leave it like this and just let it do its thing. I will go ahead and soak this in sea kelp extract over the next month, about once a week, till I can start seeing some new roots. And wish me luck, guys, on that one there. All right, this one here. Get that old pseudobulb out of there. Okay, I could do the same thing and put this one in straight up sphagnum moss. I could do this one straight up in the Stay Light. I could got some bark mixture over here. We could put a little bit of bark mixture in it. I think what I'm going to do, these holes here are bigger, so I'm going to put some bark down in the bottom of this. Then my Stay Light, because it's so small, won't fall through the holes. Now let's see here. Okay, so what do we had both of these together. I think we decided we were going to put them growing in different directions. Then I have this little guy here. I think this one is going to need, I don't know. Let's just put these together in here. Tuck the roots down in there. Rhizomes already above the rim. Fill it with the permatil. I ran out of permatil. Go get some more, or we'll put some bark on there. Let's see how this works. I bet it was a mixture. I bet it was a mixture of permatil, Stay Light, and bark, and the bark had just broken down over the years, and all that was left was the Stay Light. Okay. And that is all I'm going to do with this one. It's in Stay Light. And we're going to keep an eye on it, as I do with all of my orchids that we've repotted. Okay, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Give it a good wiggle, and I may have to put a yeah, I might need to put a rhizome clip. I didn't quite get this one over here on this side as deep down in the pot as I would like. We can push it down a little bit more. Okay. Now we'll just wait for this new growth to push out some new roots. Hope for the best. And hopefully I did not kill one of my favorite plants. Okay, this one here, this little guy, one of the things that we could do with it, we did have some new roots coming out. I don't really see any root tips there. Could have broken them off. One looks like it's dried off. We could put the whole thing down in a little pot here. Do it like that. And I am actually going to, let's just pop that one up in sphagnum moss. Straight up sphagnum moss. Now, what I want to do with this now, I'll take some of these roots here and wrap the sphagnum moss around these roots. Kind of form a little ball here. And then I can put the whole thing down into my pot. And I don't have to fill it up with, I don't have to fill this up to the top with moss. I can just do it just like that till we get some roots going. Maybe add a little bit more to the top here. We'll just let that one, and we'll see what this one will do. So just like that, guys, Orchinistas, that is all for dividing up my Prosthechea radiata. And I just hope these new growths will continue to grow. It was too hard to tell if any of the roots were aerial roots. A lot of times you want to keep your aerial roots aerial, and over the course of several weeks, you can add bark over top of them, and they will transition into the type of roots that will be able to function in media, and you can save the plant that way. But I have no idea on this one. It was so overgrown that I could not tell what was what. So guys, please stay tuned to my channel if you wish, if you like, and I'll keep you updated with all of the orchids that I have in my collection. Also, I volunteer at a public garden as well as a private conservatory, and I will also update you on those and show you those blooms as well when those plants are in bloom. And that's always fun because we get to see lots of different plants, lots of different orchids, lots of different genuses. Until next time, guys, keep your fingers crossed for me. Say a little prayer on these plants here. And until next time, happy orchid growing. Bye.